When our parents were teenagers, there was a lot of differences. It was another time they still know, now are completely different from what they were before. Right now, music like reggaeton, with artists like Bad Bunny and pop, with artists like Taylor Swift and Justin Bieber, are the most famous music genres. In the 70s, 80s, and 90s, the most famous music genres were rock, grunge, pop, Spanish rock, and others.
Long ago, our parents used to entertain themselves with the television, sport, board games, or hanging out with friends. Direct and games or meetings have always been present. There was no such a thing as smartphone, and they did not have such direct communication with their friends and family, so the connections was a little more. The technology was different from now. Before, the internet service was a little more difficult to hire. The television had a different shape, being a little small but wider, taking up too much space. Like computers, the music was heard through cassettes or tape machines, and when connecting the internet to the computer emitted a sharp and loud sound.
Before, security was much better than before. Insecurity still exists, but it was not as present as it is now. So it was normal to see a 14-year-old boy walking alone on the street. Our parents used to walk to school every day. If they wanted to visit a friend, they would just walk to their house. They could walk the whole city on foot or by bus, since they were not as much risk. It was also very common to see children and teenagers traveling by bicycle, and of course, there were cars for trips or for transporting to another places of the city. But the children and the teenagers didn't depend 100% on their parents to move across the city.
The sports of before and now do not have many differences. Practically, they are still the same sports. Rules have only been added or removed to some sports over the years, but it cannot be said that there is a great difference. Other sports have also been added to the Olympic Games, and the style of play of some has constantly changed with the arrival of new players and new talents.
Speaking of nutrition, food was less processed back then and things like fried foods weren't that common, although tacos, tortas, tamales, etc. have always existed. So, in reality, there has not been a very drastic change in the diet of